Close your eyes if you like. Let your ears carry you and drift. Here in the entryway, just inside the front door, the house meets us with a quiet threshold and soft lamplight. The hallway is simple and still. The first page of the night opens gently, asking nothing of us. As the house opens around us, something simple becomes clear. Something we've all seen before, even if we haven't named it quite this way. The house is not featureless. It's not blank. It's not just an empty container waiting to be filled. Shapes repeat. Textures echo. Patterns appear. The house is not featureless. Shapes repeat. Textures echo, and patterns appear. And yet, and this matters as the chapter begins, tonight is not a night for solving the whole puzzle. It isn't a night for explaining every pattern or tracing every connection. It isn't a night for naming every mechanism. It is a night for walking the rooms together, you and I, and noticing what the house offers, without requiring complete understanding, without insisting that every question be answered. This reading moves one page at a time. There is no hurry in these hallways, no ticking clock, no schedule to satisfy, no itinerary to meet, no test waits at the end of the hallway, no quiz on what we've seen, no score to keep. So the chapter begins simply, standing in the entryway, with one clear observation: patterns exist. That's the starting point. That's the cover page. That idea rests lightly on an open page, supported but not pinned, present but not forced, available but not urgent. The finer details soften. The entryway keeps its calm, and the shelves can hold the rest for another night. No solving is required tonight. That permission stands with us, right at the threshold. And with that first page in mind, with that quiet beginning held gently, the next page turns, still in the entryway, still at ease. Here in the entryway, the table by the door holds whatever the day brought: keys, concerns, the weight of hours. Another familiar pattern stands nearby, as ordinary as the shapes already on the page. Left alone, a tidy stack slowly loosens. A warm scent, given time, gently spreads until it's hard to separate from the air. That image sits plainly on the page. Edges that once aligned begin to shift. One book leans slightly to the side, another tilts at a soft angle. What was once gathered in one corner, warmth, presence, now fills the space, even and gentle, becoming part of the room rather than something distinct within it. Pages of an open book flutter and drift out of order. A folded blanket, left on a chair arm, relaxes into softer folds, less crisp, more yielding. This is gentle loosening, a natural drift towards settling. Nothing harsh, nothing broken, just the quiet way arrangements ease when no hand is holding them. The house lets what was gathered become evenly spread. There is something peaceful in that picture. It belongs to quiet noticing. The details soften. No measuring appears on this page. No stopwatch for how quickly a stack loosens. No calculation for when a scent blends completely with the air. The pattern is visible without numbers, without turning it into homework. Simply, it happens. It is common. It is part of how the house works, as natural as the way light fills a room or a door swings on its hinges. The simple truth is this: things tend to spread and settle. That's the house's gentle preference, its natural lean, its unhurried movement down the long hallway of time. And the thought rests there. Every mechanism does not need a name. Every outcome does not need control. The loosening does not need stopping. This observation rests on the page, simple, steady, enough. From the entryway, the living room waits next, and the next pages sit with why spreading is so common. Here in the living room, a chair waits. The lamp casts a warm circle of light. The cushions soften beneath us, yielding without pressure. The next page turns towards something quietly mathematical, yet it stays human and close to ordinary experience. In the library room inside the house, there's only one neat arrangement on the shelf, and countless ways for books to end up spread across tables and chairs. That library room is not a separate place. It sits just down the hall. It is familiar. It feels like home. On the shelf, books are lined up just so. Spines aligned, volumes in order, by height, by subject, or simply by someone's care. It's a tidy arrangement. The one way things might be called in place. And then the other possibilities appear. Books open on the table, pages folded at favorite passages, others stacked at angles by the wall, one tucked under a chair cushion, a few on the windowsill, or upside down, or stacked sideways, titles hidden, covers turned out, back covers facing instead of spines. Each of these is different, each one a unique arrangement of the same books in the same room. And all of them share one thing: they are not the single neat stack. They are spread out, unstacked, loosened. This is why spreading is so common, why it happens again and again when order is no longer being maintained. There are simply more ways to be scattered than stacked. And when arrangements shift, by a hand or by time, the next version is far more likely to be one of those many spread out ones. It's a matter of likelihood, of possibility. The whole room does not have to be held in mind at once. The page does not ask for counting every arrangement or running the math. The feeling is enough. Neat is rare. Scatter is ordinary. A neat stack is a quiet surprise. Still in the living room, lamp low, chair soft, the page offers something beautiful. Not as proof, but as a feeling. Because spread out arrangements are so common, a perfectly stacked set of books feels like a quiet surprise. Because scattering is more likely. Because the house has many ways to loosen. A perfectly stacked corner makes the eye linger. It gathers attention. It gets noticed. The rarity makes it precious. Not in an anxious way, not as something scarce to be hoarded, but as something unlikely. This particular arrangement, these books, aligned just so, is one among many possibilities, and not the most probable one. That unlikeliness makes it worth noticing. But the rarity doesn't make it fragile. It doesn't turn into a demand for vigilance or worry. It becomes something to appreciate, gently, while it lasts. We are like a neatly stacked set of books in a room that image sits softly in the center of the page. For this moment, we're gathered into a pattern. We're a temporary arrangement, held by flow. Not permanent, not unchanging, just for now. And there's tenderness in that. There's beauty in the improbability, a quiet appreciation for being here, arranged just so, for as long as we are. No guarding is required, no holding longer than the shape can hold itself. This moment simply is, neatly arranged for now, and that is enough. There's no pressure, no countdown, no demand to preserve the shape forever. Just this, the quiet surprise of order and the calm permission to let it be what it is. At the doorway between the living room and the library room, the frame of the door creates a natural pause, and something becomes clear. There is a way to count the arrangements. There are precise methods for comparing neat and scattered stacks, ways to assign numbers, run calculations, define probabilities. That work lives in books on nearby shelves. It is there for daylight reading, when heavier pages feel welcome. But tonight's page does not require the full count. A ribbon marks the place. The volume stays gently set aside. The pages will wait. Tomorrow, or any day after. They're not going anywhere. Tonight stays with the cover image, the simple sense of direction already on the page, the basic truth. There are more ways to be scattered than stacked. That's enough to understand the pattern, enough to feel the lean of the house. No full bookkeeping required. No test waits for this material. No quiz in the morning. No memorizing demanded of the mathematics to notice the drift. The detailed counting remains on the shelf for another time, in another room. That permission stands at the doorway, steady and quiet. With the ribbon placed and the weight of those pages set aside, the next chapter opens, and the library room holds the lamplight. Here in the library room, the table is solid and still. A few books lie scattered, some open to the lamplight, some tilted at gentle angles, their spines turned in different directions. And a simple question appears on the page. What does it take to stack them? The answer is quiet and familiar. To stack the books, they must be moved, and that movement leaves a little warmth behind. That is the seeded truth. A book is lifted from the table. It passes through the still air. There is weight. There is texture. There is the gentle work of motion. The book is placed on the shelf, adjusted, its spine aligned beside another. And in all of that, the lifting, the placing, the arranging, a trace of warmth remains. The shelf is just slightly warmer than before. The room holds the quiet result of that work. This isn't a distant process. It is familiar. It's the warmth of arranging, of choosing, of shaping the room. The act of gathering into order leaves a trace. Not loud, not forced, just a soft imprint of warmth, left by the work of arranging. The explanation stays at this scale. Books and shelves and lamplight. No diagrams required, no charts. Just the familiar sense of stacking a few books at the end of the day and feeling the quiet warmth it leaves behind. That small work, that simple order making, leaves something behind. And when the view widens, Beyond this table, beyond this room, something larger becomes visible. Still here in the library room, a book lies open on the table. Lamplight falls softly on the page. Two kinds of text appear. There's the main page, large, clear sentences, space for the eye to follow gently. And there are margins, small notes, dense with detail, tightly written along the edges. Both are part of the book. Both were placed with purpose. And tonight stays with the main page. That page tells us this. Across all the rooms together, the house keeps spreading its warmth more evenly, even as we gather a few corners into order. That is the central line, the gentle direction, the overall motion, settling, balancing, softening. While a book is placed or a lamp is lit in one room, the house keeps moving patiently toward balance. There's no contradiction here, no conflict to resolve. The house allows local order, even welcomes it, as long as the overall drift continues. In the margins, the details wait, exact definitions, complex arguments, careful accounting of how much warmth moves where. Those pages belong to another time, but tonight stays with the main line, with the sentence that says, local order can exist within larger settling. Our stacked corners don't push against the house's direction. They live inside it. The margin notes remain for daylight. The main line stays clear on the page, and the next line of the story turns back toward the handrail before the next room. Here in the library room, the open book becomes a closed one again. The spine sits steady under lamplight, and the sentence returns, the one that has been with us from the beginning. The house gently prefers to settle. That's the direction. The lean traced through every room, every page. It's not a command, not a harsh decree, not something that forbids patterns or prevents beauty. It's a gentle preference, a way of moving down the hallway of time, unhurried, unforced, soft. Nothing on this page requires naming every mechanism. Nothing here asks for memorizing or proving. The story stays calm, steady, readable. The idea rests the way a book rests on a table, present but not pressing. This sentence is the handrail, steadiness in a single line, returned to whenever the pages grow dense. For now, we are a neatly stacked moment in the settling, a temporary order shaped by the house, not pushing against the drift, but held inside it. We are not separate from the settling. We are part of it. That is enough. That is what carries forward into the next room, and the kitchen opens ahead, where flow becomes easier to picture. Here in the kitchen, the stove gives the room a steady comfort. The air sits in balance, not too warm, not too cool. The table is cool beneath the lamplight, and warmth travels softly through the room like presence, not pressure. In the kitchen, a steady stream of warmth can hold a repeating pattern as long as the flow continues. That image sits quietly on the page. Warmth rises. A pattern appears and holds, not fixed like a closed book, but alive in the movement. The shape exists because of the flow. It's held by the flow. And when the flow quiets, the shape softens. This is what patterns can do. They hold form not not by pushing against motion, but by joining it. They persist by letting flow move through them. No full mapping is required here. One plain line remains. Some patterns stay because the flow continues. Their shape is gentle, temporary, and part of the settling. The flow is not separate from the house's balance. It is part of the balance. The warmth from the stove, the movement it creates, the patterns it holds, they all belong to the same quiet direction. And on the next page, one familiar source of flow appears. Here in the kitchen, the window is cool beneath the fingertips. Outside, night has come. The view stays gentle. The sun sends bright, concentrated light. Earth uses that flow to build patterns, and then releases gentler warmth into the night. That's the relationship. That's the image. Bright input, patterns built, gentler output. During the day, Earth gathers light. It builds, it shapes, and then, in the quiet of night, it releases warmth, softer, more spread out, more balanced with the space around it. This isn't loss. It isn't drain. It's participation in flow, a way of being a pattern that allows movement through. Technical explanation stays off this page. No test waits here. No diagram is required on the stairs. The image rests like a book on a table, lightly, gently, present. And the handrail line appears again at the edge of the page, before the stairs. At the kitchen doorway, the stair rail rises upward, smooth wood catching a little lamplight. The house gently prefers to settle. That sentence has stayed with us through entryway, living room, library, and kitchen, through warmth, flow, order, and release. We've seen that loosened arrangements are common, that order is rare and quiet, that flow can shape patterns, and that warmth spreads as part of the house's long balance. Through every room, the direction remains, soft, patient, without pressure. The whole house does not need to be carried in mind at once. Not every room, not every shelf. Thought drifts, threads loosen. The house keeps settling. The handrail sentence remains the same, steady and repeatable. The house gently prefers to settle. That line holds. That's the steadiness carried into the next floor. The stairs rise ahead. The upstairs hallway stretches out like a longer page of time. Here in the upstairs hallway, a closed door sits beside a long corridor. The hallway stretches behind us, and the picture stays soft. In the earliest moments we speak of, the house was remarkably even. Everything spread smoothly, holding immense potential for later patterns. That is enough. A smooth spread, a quiet beginning, a page in the book that held space for the next lines. This page does not require every detail of that early state. It does not ask for every step of the unfolding. It holds only the sense of evenness. The house, once more uniform than now, has gently unfolded ever since, into texture, into pattern, into difference. And from that evenness, a quiet gathering begins. Still in the upstairs hallway, by a window where soft light rests, one more page turns. If it grows heavy, a ribbon marks the place. Gravity began to whisper to the dust, drawing specks together, until the house lit a few steady lanterns we call stars. It was a gentle pull, patient, persistent, drawing tiny gatherings across wide distances. And over time, those gatherings grew, and eventually the lanterns lit. That image is enough. Every step does not need to be followed. Every detail does not need to be weighed. If the page grows heavy, the ribbon stays in place, and the cover image remains, gathering, then light. Gravity gathered, light appeared. The house lit steady lamps. That's a page that holds, without turning further, and the handrail line returns once more, steady on the landing. At the upstairs landing, quiet space gathers between rooms, and the page opens a little wider. The house gently prefers to settle. We've walked through time. We've seen the early evenness. We've seen gathering. We've seen the lanterns come alight. And through it all, the direction stays soft. The lean is steady. Balance unfolds without forcing. Details soften at the edge of the page. The whole timeline stays gently out of focus. The next page waits, but it does not need to be turned tonight. The story stays with the one line that remains clear. The house gently prefers to settle. That sentence holds the whole picture. Everything else is detail wrapped around it. And the bedroom appears at the end of the hall, ready to let the chapter close gently. In the bedroom, the lamp is turned low. The last page of the night lies open in gentle light. Far down the hallway of time, the view arrives only in soft outline. Far down the hallway of time, the house can be pictured as sharing its warmth more evenly in every corner, settling toward a wide, comfortable stillness. That picture holds without needing more. Far ahead, beyond naming, the house shares its warmth more evenly. The rooms settle, the corners soften, the stillness deepens. This is the same direction traced all night, room by room, page by page. The long settling, quiet, spacious, without rush. This page does not require every step, only this. Far ahead, the house rests toward balance. The light is low, the pages are still, and with that picture resting softly in the lamplight, the book closes. Still in the bedroom, lamp low, night outside, the cover meets two hands. Its shape is simple, not heavy, just real, present. It closes gently. The pages meet. The spine rests. The book is complete for now. And as the house leans toward its long, quiet balance, a simple knowing settles. For this moment, we are neatly arranged, held inside the quiet patterns of the night. We are a gathered moment in a spreading house, like a neatly stacked set of books on the shelf in the library room, a temporary gathering of shape held by the flow, unlikely, and for that, precious, but not separate from the settling, not outside of it. We are part of it, carried by it, nested inside it. No solving is required tonight. No need to carry every detail of the house, every reason why patterns appear. No need to carry the explanation into tomorrow. A small, steady picture remains. The house gently prefers to settle, and we are held within that preference. Not by pushing, not by pulling away, but by resting inside it. It is enough to have walked the rooms, to have turned the pages, to have placed bookmarks when the pages grew heavy, to have found the handrail when the hallway felt long. It is enough to know that scattering is common, that order is rare, and that both live inside the same quiet balance. So the door stays softly closed. The lamp dims. The room settles into comfortable dark. The house will keep settling, room by room, page by page, line by line, down a long hallway of time. And here the gathering rests, neatly stacked, temporarily gathered, held inside the quiet pattern of the night. Precious because we are unlikely, beautiful because we are here. At peace because we are part of the settling, not apart from it. The house gently prefers to settle. We can stop here. The page rests. The lamp rests. Your breathing can keep its own rhythm, in its own time, in its own way. The night can hold your rest. We're in dream.